Hey, welcome back to the Lands of Middle-earth for Lord of the Rings strategy battle game playing. I'm your host, Roman Daisel. Today we're just going to be looking at the siege troops of the Uruk-hai. So Isengard siege troops. See down here I have a bunch of siege troops. I have two box sets of the Isengard siege troops. I have two box sets of the Isengard siege troops. And I have one battering ram. Talk about the siege troops first. Each box set, I bought the first box set off Games Workshop, paid like $30 back in the day. And the second one, I can't even remember where I got it. It might have been Kijiji. I got it for a good deal for $10. So I don't mind. I had a third box set I believe I sold because I didn't need three. I got it from Fan of the Sport. So I had three sets of these. I sold one and made a little extra money so I could buy something else. And then the battering ram, it never came with a case. It was a loose figure I got from a guy in Tilsonburg off Kijiji. I paid like $75 for a bunch of stuff. And that was one of them, which was really cool. I did see it at Fan of the Sport unopened, but I was too late to buy it. Because back then I could only buy it once every 2 weeks. I spent so much money, I couldn't blow a lot of money on stuff. And there was so many. Fan of the Sport had such a huge collection at the time. Okay, so let's look at these siege equipment guys. So each box set of the siege equipment, you get 4 ladders, you get 8 sappers, as they would be called, and 2 berserkers with a flaming torch, as well as 2 little bombs. If you remember in the movie, the sappers would take these little bombs and they throw them up into the by the grate where the stream came out, the deeping stream, and the berserker would run. Aragorn shouting, "Kill him, kill him, kill him," and no one could kill him, and he runs in and commits suicide by blowing up the mines and blows up the wall. Well, that's where that's from. Now the sappers come in only 4 poses, as you can see. So this is the first set I had, and that's the paint job I used. We'll get a close-up in a minute. The second set that I got painted, I made them darker. Same poses, same everything. I just made them a little more darker. Used Warlock bronze for their armor instead of just Ironbreaker. They're all plastic, very lightweight. The ladders also lightweight. When you have the frocking down below on the base, a little rough. It's hard to put them in the ladder, but it does work. So for each ladder, 2 sappers have to carry it, and then the battering ram is just basically a tree trunk with some armored spikes on the end, like an iron crown on it, and it's carried by 4 Uruk-hai. Now the base, I didn't have a base, so I just made my own base for these guys. They were loose. I don't know what happened to the base, but you could also put more Uruk-hai in there in between to simulate, because the more guys you have pounding the gate, the better. That model only appears when you actually are battering something. Other than that, it doesn't work. You can't carry them in a campaign. It wouldn't make sense. These guys would have dropped their battering ram and started fighting. So if they're engaged with somebody, they drop the battering ram and you get 4 Uruk-hai. They probably lose a turn because they have to drop their battering ram and grab their weapons. So they would lose a turn. Alright, so we'll go with the close-up. So you can see how they're in different poses, how I painted them. These guys are a lighter shade of brown. In the book, the guys who were filling in the mine would have been just common orcs. That's the thing. The movies had just Uruk-hai, and really in the book it was the army of Isengard was a mix of orcs, Dunlenders, and the Uruk-hai were actually the shock troops. Probably represented 10% of the total army. And these ones I have darker, made them darker colors, just to differentiate, give some different looks. Even the ladders I painted, one's dark, one's light. Just got tired of painting things the same. And then of course the battering ram looks really kick-ass. My paint job's not the best. Like I said, this came as a loose model without a base and with no packaging. I would like to have gotten the packaging with it. But I'm not going to be, beggars can't be choosers, because I've only seen it once at a store. I think Games Workshop re-released it not too long ago as a special limited edition. But I don't need two of them. Okay, so I've got it set up like the actual, what would actually happen. The sappers would help carry the ladders, put them in the ground, and prop them up. You'd have to have them stay there to keep it steady, because you can't just leave a ladder and then try having guys from full armor running up it. Also, it keeps it from the enemy from just pushing the ladder over with somebody on it. So you have it well grounded, two guys to hold it to make sure nothing goes wrong. And then I put the mines by the seam between the two deeping wall. That would be like the stream, the deeping stream. And then I have two of the Beserkers ready to run, do a running man. Or that movie 1917 where they have the runners running across the battlefield to deliver a message. Running up. And the idea for the defenders would be to shoot it. But at the same time, with the guys coming up the ladders, they have, you want to keep the defenders as busy as possible in several areas while you're doing that. Trying to blow up a mine. So you have them running. You have one trying. If he fails, there's another one coming right behind him. And to keep the defenders busy. And then, of course, you also have the battering ram over there. And, of course, you have your battering ram doing batter points to try and get in the walls. But, of course, the defenders are shooting arrows. You got 2, 4, 6 arrow slits pointing in your direction. And you also have the hoardings. So defenders could drop rocks, boiling water, hot sand, oil, whatever they could. They could throw it on the gate area. So there would be a massive Urukai at the base of this thing to take the place of any fallen comrades. And there'd be archers all around here trying to keep the defenders pinned up top. Keep their heads low. But they would have lost a lot of men. A lot of Uruks and orcs and Dunlandings would have been killed trying to get to the gate itself. It would be the most heavily defended part too of the Helm's Deep. And then I also have another ladder over there. I only have 8 ladders, so if I kept the other box set, it might have been better. But I decided two box sets were enough to simulate things. But yeah, it's a pretty cool set. The only thing I'm missing siege-wise is the ballistae, which never actually appears in the book, but Peter Jackson decided to add a siege ballistae in the movies, and they are pretty cool. That's not usually what you use a ballistae for in a siege. They'd be better off with catapults and trebuchets, not ballistae. And eventually I will get the Urukai ballistae just to complete the collection. That'll be the next thing to get. But anyone else, let me know. Any other collectors out there, let me know if you guys got the siege troops and the battering ram. Do you have the trifecta of the ballistae? I played this once with my son, and usually just solitaire. It's a lot of setup. I know there's a guy in Australia who does this really good. Zorpazorp, whatever his name is. He's pretty cool. He does large scale miniatures. But anyway, leave comments below, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'm going to keep releasing all my Lord of the Rings collections. Until next time, this has been Roman Daysel. I'm out of here.